It is said that with proper training, humans can learn to control the flow of their dreams. However, neuroscientist Francis Crick asserted that dreams were meaningless. He maintained that dreams merely exist to dispose of needless trivia accumulated in the cerebrum. According to Crick, they are nothing more than a 40 Hz signal causing a sympathetic reaction in the brain. Dreams, their form, and their world, the hidden realm. Over the years, doctors have devised many different techniques to treat patients suffering from psychological trauma. One approach has the patient move their eyes while recounting their traumatic experiences. With the use of bilateral brain stimulation, it is believed that the patient can more fully process their traumatic experiences, thus reducing their distress. But what is it that the patient truly sees while his eyes are at work? What secrets lie behind the therapist's finger? At times, people harbor extreme fears, phobias, of things that appear completely harmless to others. Why is it that our brains were designed this way? Why were we made to experience reactions that are completely beyond our control? What sort of survival instinct is fulfilled by suffering chronic fear from things that cannot harm us? Why must even our minds lie beyond our control? Rites of passage. Is it true that we must learn to suffer in order to grow as human beings? Are our personalities defined by the painful events of our past? If that is the case, can we better understand who we are by reflecting upon that suffering? But perhaps the act of sifting through painful memories can be a rite of passage in itself, one that we all must face. Point Pleasant, West Virginia, 1966. Multiple sightings of a strange flying creature dubbed the Mothman were reported. While investigating the occurrence, journalist John A. Keel supposedly experienced a mysterious voice speaking to him through his radio. He suggested that phenomena such as the Mothman, UFOs, and other paranormal creatures were actually transcendental life forms residing on Earth in realms beyond our perception. A Canadian neurosurgeon named Wilder Penfield succeeded in producing the sensation of an out-of-body experience by using electrodes to stimulate the cerebral neocortex of his patients. Although Penfield made remarkable advances in the localization of brain functions, he never relinquished his belief in Cartesian dualism, which asserted that the mind and body were two separate entities, even when dealing with the brain. In 1923, a French woman known only as Madame M reported that a secret organization in Paris was imprisoning a large number of people and replacing them with imposters. She also claimed that many people in her personal life had been replaced as well, including her husband and eventually the very police she complained to. Today, this delusional misidentification syndrome is known as Capgras syndrome, after the doctor who documented the case. The amygdala governs human emotions such as fear and hate. The hippocampus is the brain's information processing interface. These adjacent organs are the core of the limbic system, the neural pathways that store our memories. The word limbic is derived from the Latin word limbus, or border. In the past, it referred to the frontier between one world and the next, between the hidden realm and the visible realm. In 2003, a group led by Dr. Richard Wiseman performed an experiment during a concert in an old music hall in London. During the show, they exposed the audience to ultra-low frequency sounds played through a 7-meter-long pipe. They found that 22% of the audience reported experiencing unusual sensations. Wiseman theorizes that reports of encounters with ghosts are actually caused by exposure to low-frequency sounds. If a piece of land has fertile soil and fresh water, then that location is said to afford a good environment for human habitation. The concept of affordance describes the action or series of actions that an individual can perform due to the inherent qualities of a place or object. If the natural world offers us the affordance to thrive, then what sort of affordance does the modern world offer us? Memento mori, a Latin phrase meaning remember that you shall die. Even without this admonition, human beings cannot live without contemplating death. Regardless of one's beliefs regarding the afterlife, the pain of losing a loved one is undoubtedly universal to people of all religions and creeds. Memento mori, even unspoken, perhaps this is one of the few concepts common to all of mankind. Is true shamanism the trance type as suggested by Mircea Eliade? Or is it the possession type as emphasized by Ion M. Lewis? When we attempt to use rationality to explain that which cannot be known, our only tools are customs and symbols. Yet throughout the ages, these shamanistic concepts have survived, appearing in many different places and cultures. And although their names may have changed, they persist still today. Emanuel Swedenborg, a famous theologian and scientist, once studied neurophysiology and anatomy to investigate the physical basis of the soul. However, he abandoned his scientific research when he began to experience strange visions. Claiming to have power to freely visit both heaven and hell, he sought to reform Christianity. Swedenborg's ideas were lauded by many, including Immanuel Kant, author of Critique of Pure Reason. Soul calming. Although this term is normally used in reference to the dead, it also has another meaning. The souls of the living are unstable. Unless properly chained to the body, they can sometimes escape. In the early Meiji period, Chikatsu Honda used soul calming and the channeling of spirits as the foundation for a systematization of Shintoism. His work later influenced such figures as Onosabaru Deguchi. The Japanese have great faith in the mystical powers of language, but this concept is not unique to Japan. In ancient Greece, the term logos was equated with both divine wisdom and divinity itself. Logos can also be used as a term for rational discourse. Whether the speaker is man or God, his spirit is etched into his words, leaving its mark on both his listeners and the world around him. Stephen Hawking has never refuted the theory that the current stability of the universe is not only necessary for human life, but due to it as well. Furthermore, John Wheeler, who coined the phrase black holes, believed that a concept similar to the uncertainty principle is necessary to reconcile quantum probability theory. In other words, for the current universe to exist, there must be an internal observer, in this case, a human being. Seeing an incompatibility between quantum mechanics and the theory of relativity, David Bohm proposed that the whole of any given entity is contained within each part. He illustrated this notion with the example of a laser-produced hologram, where each region of its photographic plate contains the entire image that is displayed. Viewing the brain as this same kind of construction, Bohm's philosophical quantum theory imagined a world held together by an unseen order. In 2008, Brian Whitworth of Massey University postulated the essence of the universe was information. Therefore, what we perceive as reality could be nothing more than a virtual world created by information processing. His critics mocked his ideas as nothing more than science fiction, but many others believed in their potential. However, whether people believe it or not, that information has already become a part of the universe. The second law of thermodynamics states that the universe constantly moves towards disorder. However, Earth's ecosystems are always self-organizing. To explain this paradox, Erwin Schrödinger proposed the concept of negentropy, which life feeds on to decrease or maintain its level of disorder. However, this concept lost its validity with the introduction of Ila Prigoghine's dissipative structures theory. In the race to develop master cells, There was an incident involving falsified ES cells that caused research to stall. However, in 2007, a team led by Professor Shinya Yamanaka of Kyoto University introduced a compound called the Yamanaka factor into a somatic cell, successfully creating induced pluripotent stem cells. Incidentally, at the same time, a team of MIT researchers led by Rudolf Jenisch succeeded in a nearly identical experiment. Stochastic resonance, the phenomenon wherein the transmission of a signal is improved by the addition of random noise, is a recognized tool in the neurological pathways of both human and animal mechanoreceptors. It was originally utilized to explain the periodic reoccurrence of ice ages and is currently used in electronic circuits and other systems.
Yuki! This is bad! Taro! I'll say her name!
Hurry. Save me.